A massive demolition project at the White House continues today as President Trump's construction of a lavish $300 million ballroom is underway. To make room, the president is having the entire East Room of the White House torn down, and he's doing it without seeking approval of the commission overseeing construction of federal buildings, and despite previously saying the East Room would not be impacted. Joining me to discuss, Sarakshi Rai, Deputy Managing Editor here at The Hill. Hey, Sarakshi. So these images and videos coming out of this entire East Room being torn down have been shocking to many, and this all seems kind of abrupt.
That's right, Drew. The president is really putting his stamp on the White House here in Washington, D.C. Now, we knew this was coming because let's not forget a couple of months ago, remember when the president showed up on the terrace overlooking where the press briefing room is, and all of the reporters were really surprised, and he was there to actually inspect the site where this ballroom is now being constructed. So really, when these images went viral on Monday, because it was a very astounding image that kind of sent shockwaves throughout Washington, D.C. as well as throughout the country, where you had this giant construction machine basically tearing down portions of this historic East Wing. So really, yeah, making a lot of waves with this new construction project of his.
Why is the president now having the entire East Room torn down despite previously indicating that it would not be?
That's right. There's a bit of confusion about that. So, the president yesterday saying that the entire East Wing was being demolished and it was necessary. He also said that, this ballroom is a much needed addition to the White House. He said that, it's really embarrassing to sometimes have these events that require a lot of people, and they host it in outdoor tents on the South Lawn. And it's really cramped and it's elbow to elbow. And the president has said that, it's not really America putting its best forward when hosting some of these foreign dignitaries and world leaders. And so essentially this construction of the ballroom is essential to bring the White House into the modern age and have a space where they can really host some of these big, 500, 600 people dinners that they have.
So the president says the price tag is now up to $300 million. Who's going to be paying this? Is there any taxpayer involvement?
That's right. So it's still unclear. So the initial figures was 250, and now, the figures have gone up to 300 million. And today, actually, the White House released the donor list to The Hill. It's up on our website. And, part of this donor list is major corporations as well as individuals. We know that Amazon is part of this. We know Meta is a part of this. We know there are military companies that are taking part in funding some of this project of the president's. And we also know that the president hosted a dinner last week where he hosted some of the people from these companies as well as donors to talk about the ballroom. He hosted a dinner, to thank them for giving him money to build this ballroom. So now the price tag has gone up to 300 million. And essentially it's a list of high net worth individuals who are funding this project, Drew.
Is all of this legal? Can the president just pick and choose what parts of the White House he wants to keep and destroy? I mean, could he tear down the entire White House if he wanted to?
So the president can, and he is the custodian of the White House. It is called the People's House. And essentially, there's a loophole where parts of the White House and certain other buildings are exempt from the National Historical Preservation Act of 1966, which essentially is a loophole that the White House is using to be able to construct this ballroom. So essentially, the president has not submitted any plans, but, the White House press secretary saying that the plans have been public for a while and showed renderings of the images. The president also showed renderings of the building and the images during his meeting with NATO leader Mark Rutte yesterday as well in the Oval Office. So essentially everything's a go for this construction project, Drew.
Do we know when construction is actually going to be completed? Like, when can you and I expect our invitation to the next grand ball at this new White House ballroom?
That's right. The timeline is a bit hazy right now, but the president has said that it's going to be completed well before the end of his term or around the end of his term. So he's definitely going to push for this project to be completed before he leaves the White House at the end of his second term, because he would want to host a big celebration there for his new ballroom, Drew.
Yeah, it's the People's House, so I expect us to be getting those invitations as well. Thanks for all the information. We'll leave it at that. Sarakshi Rai, appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.